grief we must suffer if you go away so far, amid so many dangers. I cannot bear to have you speak of it again." Robinson did not speak of it again, but he did not forget it. He was 19 years old. It was one day in August that Robinson stood at the wharf looking longingly after the departing ships. As he stood there, someone touched him on the shoulder. It was a ship captain's son. He pointed to a long ship and said, "My father sails to-day in that ship for Africa and takes me with him." "Oh, if only I could go with you!" cried Robinson. "Do come along," cried his comrade. "But I have no money," said Robinson. "That doesn't make any difference," returned the captain's son. "We'll take you anyway." Robinson, without thinking for a moment, gave his friend his hand and promised to go with him. So without saying good bye to his parents, Robinson immediately went on board ship with his friend. This happened on the 10th of August. End of Robinson's departure. Chapter 4. Robinson Far from Home. Robinson's Voyage. Once on board, Robinson watched the preparations for departure. At command, the sailors clambered up into the rigging and loosened the sails. Then the captain from his bridge called out, "Hoist the anchor!" Then the great iron hooks that held the ship fast were lifted up. A cannon sounded a final farewell. Robinson stood on the deck. He saw the great city shimmer in the sunshine before him. Very fast now the land was being left behind. It was not long until all that could be seen of his native city was the tops of the highest towers. Then all faded from sight. Behind, in front, right and left, he saw nothing but waters. He became a little afraid. At noon there arose a strong wind and the ship rocked to and fro. He became dizzy and had to hold fast to something. The masts and rigging began to dance. It seemed to him as if all was turning around. Suddenly he fell full length on the deck, and it was impossible for him to get up. He was seasick. He wailed and cried, but no one heard him, no one helped him. Then he thought of his home, his parents whom he had so ungratefully left. He had been on the water about 2 weeks, when one day, as he lay in his room, Robinson heard people over his head running about and crying, "A storm is coming!" The ship's sides trembled and creaked. The ship was tossed like a nutshell. Now it rolled to the right, now to the left, and Robinson was thrown from one side to the other. Every moment he expected the ship to sink. He turned pale and trembled with fear. "Oh, if only I were at home with my parents, safe on the land," he said. "If I ever get safe out of this, I will go home as quickly as I can and stay with my dear parents." The storm raged the whole day and the whole night. But on the next morning the wind went down and the sea was calm. By evening the sky was clear and Robinson was again cheerful. He ran about the ship. He looked at the glittering stars and was contented and happy. End of Chapter 4. Robinson Far from Home. Robinson's Voyage.